you need in this recipe is flour, eggs, yeast, salt, sugar, shortening. I use Crisco butter shortening, and butter, and then water. And that should do it. All right, the first thing we do is, this is a recipe and a half because I need it for tomorrow. So it gets tricky in case I make a mistake. That's why, but I've got it written, so it should be good. All right, that's 3/4 cup of shortening, and you just put it in like that. And is this how Julia would do it? I don't know. All right, and then 3 teaspoons of salt. So I add 3 teaspoons of salt. 1, 2. I count out loud because sometimes you forget where you are. Anyway, I do. You guys might not. And then you add 3/4 cup of butter. So it's 3/4 shortening, 3/4 butter. And I've got it softened up right here, ready to go. And you save your little butter sheets because you'll want to wipe your pan with it. So, okay, we'll just get this off of here. Don't put any paper in your bowl. That would not taste good. Okay. Now, let's see if I can wipe some of this off. Okay, now we get started. And you just start to beat the salt. Oh, and the sugar. Sugar is 1 1/8 cup. Ready to go. Now you beat this. And how long? I do not know. Just go. I will say this. The next thing you need is a cup of boiling water. 1.5 cups of boiling water. So while this is beating, I'll get the water going. Machine, I have to scrape it because it just doesn't quite get it in the right places. So I stop it a couple of times to scrape. And then just keep going for a minute until that boils. The next thing we put in is 1.5 cups of boiling water. Now, while we're waiting, I'm going to put in 3 scant cups or tablespoons of yeast. But this has to be just right, so you get it going here. And if it's too hot, it'll kill your yeast. If it's too cold, it won't move. So you just feel it until it feels just right. Sometimes, if your cup is too cold, it'll cool it down. So it can be a little bit on the warm side. All right, it's 1 cup and I can't remember. Let's see, I think it's a 3/4 cup of warm water. I think I've got that. Okay. So it's 3 scant tablespoons of yeast. Scant is just what it says. Kind of like that, just not quite full. 2, 3. Now you use a teaspoon of sugar because that helps the yeast move, if you didn't know that. And give it you keep going. Give it a stir. mix for a minute and get all the edges down in there. And this boiling water helps the sugar and everything just kind of dissolve, butter and whatever. Now the next thing you do is you add the rest of your ingredients carefully. All right, we're going to beat it just for a minute while I prepare the eggs. One thing I've forgotten to do is get out my flour. And I have found, for me, for 2 people, it takes a whole bag to make double the recipe. But we don't eat that much flour, so I don't buy the big bags, but I know you kids grew up on Lehigh roller mills. Yeah. Okay. All right, we'll get going again. Now we're going to add flour. Let me make sure I've got it right. Flour and the eggs, and then we'll go from there. So we add the rest of this flour. Get rid of that. 1. You count out loud because you can't remember where you are. I can't remember where I am. 1, 2. You can write it down if you want to. I just say it out loud and that helps me remember. 2, 3. Now I stop right there for a minute and add the eggs. Just kind of slowly. Then I say 3, 3, 3, because that's where I am on the flour. And I say it over and over so I don't mix up. So 3 flour, 4, now the yeast is ready, and it's warm and toasty. It's perfect for yeast. 4, what am I on? 4, 4, 4, 4. 5, 6. Now, about right here, you need a cup and a half of cold water. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11 for a recipe and a half, so we're just about there. We'll let it beat for a while. Tidy things up. Let's see. Put my yeast over here. I'll fix that. I don't know where I put my clip. Oh, here it is. That goes back in the fridge, because your yeast has to be in the fridge. Oh, one thing If I have a failure, it's because my yeast was old, and that has happened before. So now, kind of get all the sides down in and just let it go for a minute or 2 or 3 or 4, however long I think. One more flour. Now, while we're waiting for this flour, I'm going to turn on the oven so we can bake this next batch. Okay. That needs to go for a minute or 2. Toss some of this stuff. Well, let's see, I need that. I'm going to use this butter to butter my bowl. Okay, let's see, it should be getting there. Just has to go for a minute. You just kind of have to be patient. Not for a long time, but for a minute. Steph was watching me one day. She says, "Oh, you beat yours a lot longer than I do mine." And I said, "Well, I never know because I'm here, I'm there, I'm over there. I just beat it for a while in between. I've learned how to do it." So I think this is about good. All right. Now this is a refrigerator dough. That means you refrigerate it at least 5 hours or overnight. I usually do mine overnight. Now Mary says she does this right from this, but it's sticky. And she must add more flour in order to do it right out of the pot here. But I like mine overnight. And I'll show you why when we get to the next batch. There's a big thing on there that needs to... Okay, now this is a little awkward, but you do what I do. I don't know if you'll ever make them the way I make them or not, but it works, right?
Yeah.
Do you love them?
Oh, yeah, the best.
Okay. And it's funny because years ago, probably 40 years ago, I took the Good Housekeeping book and I looked at this roll recipe and I thought, well, that looks good. I looked at the author, she was from American Fork. And I thought, well, must be good then. So that's where it came from. Okay, now this is sticky and it's a mess, but you just deal with it. You kind of cut it down the middle and just pour it in. And then you scrape it out. And I must caution you, this bowl might not be big enough. I can't remember. Sometimes I split it up in a big bowl and a smaller bowl because when it rises, bread raises. Okay. It will come out of the bowl. It'll come up out of the lid, you know. So you don't want to put too much in it because it does raise in the fridge. Some. Not as much as it does on the counter, you know, when you don't. But, okay. You put that there. You just kind of settle it in. Put the lid on. And it's ready to be put in the fridge. I won't put it in the fridge right this second. I'll just put it over here. Okay, I'm sticky and messy. All right, now, here's what we do next. Clean things up a little. Now, we'll pretend like it's the next day. And this is what we do the next day. All right, we bring out the breadboard. 3 hours before you need them, you get these out. Now, if you're in a hurry, you can put them in a warm oven for a minute or two, and that'll get them that'll move them. So let's see, what time is it? These have been out about 3 hours. They're not very big, but they'll rise more in the oven. So I've got okay, let's pretend like we just got them out of the fridge. Now, here we are with our next batch. And this is small. Normally it's a little bigger, but for video purposes, it's the way it is today. And I roll since it's sticky, you have to work really fast. Let's see if I can get a little more out of here. Okay, now I forgot my other pan here. Okay, rattle. Okay, take your stuff and give it a quick spray. This doesn't spray right for some reason. Go like that. Okay. Now you work really fast because it'll soften right up. And you just, about that, it's usually bigger, about 12 inches, 12 to 14 inches would be about right. Then you get a little soft butter and get your spoon out and you cover it with butter, like that. Yeah, okay. Then you cut it into about 12 pieces. This will be smaller because it's such a small. So I'm only going to do 8. Now if it sticks, you just get out a little thing here, help it along. Okay. Now, you roll it fast. These are called crescents. You roll from the big part to the small part. The more dough you have in here, the fatter they are. We really like a breakfast roll with ham and egg or something in one of these, so I make a few bigger. But for you, when we have the family over, they're about this size. Some are a little bigger. But see, it's softening up already, so you have to just work so fast. Now when they're up 3 hours later, you bring them over and put them in your oven. Now caution, if they're higher than this, which they could be, and especially in summer when it's warmer, they get poofier. If you accidentally bump one of these things, they'll fall. I've done that before. Don't do that. Put them in there very carefully, and right there. And my oven cooks hot to the back, so I kind of keep them a little bit forward so we don't burn those at the back. Well, they don't burn, they just get brown. I check them. The regular time is 375 for about 15 minutes, but my oven, I put it at 370 and I check it at 10. If I need more, then I add 2 or 3 more minutes. That works best. So you're going to have to figure out your own oven. Every oven's different, and you will after a time or two. So. I would say these are just about right. Now what I do now, I will cancel that, and now I need my butter, just a minute. And then I butter the tops. as fast as you can. While they're sitting there, I'll go get some jam. Make something homemade once in a while. Don't opt out for store-bought rolls. I mean, they're good for convenience, and they're good for lots of things. I had a cute little old lady. She was a grandma when we first moved here. And she lived in a little house, and her advice was, every time my grandkids come, I have a pan of hot rolls. She says, and they love it. And so I've tried to do that more or less, you know, for our gatherings outside. We have them quite often. We always have them for family dinners. But I kind of take pride in having a good home-baked roll. So don't opt for convenience. Some of the time it's okay, but not all the time. For fancy meals, cook a good roll. Cook this recipe. Now, where to find the recipe? It's in the Scoresby cookbook, and you can ask me anytime for the recipe. I think your parents have it. It's in the book. So, there you go.
Thank you.
Is that good?
That's good. I think that's everything.
Okay.